Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to Mystery Monday, live here on Facebook, and thank you if you're catching the replay. My name is Lucia Visentin, and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. As you hop on, do say hi. I would love to know who's about and where you're from. I'll just get my comments up so I can see who is here. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. We had a quiet day one day and then a busy day the next day. So Saturday we sort of spent a fair bit of the day just relaxing and recovering from colds that we caught while we were away. And then on Sunday we had I caught up with a girlfriend from Tassie. It was a real Tassie day. Caught up with a girlfriend from Tassie, and then my sister-in-law was over from Tassie too. So that was really lovely. So we had we did have a really good day. So today the catalogue's still not live, so that will be on Wednesday, but it is Father's Day this weekend, so I thought we would make a Father's Day card. Would be a good way to go. Hello Fiona, how are you? Hope you're well. So we might get around and have a look. Oh, and happy spring, it's the first today. So I don't know how the weather is where you guys are, but I know it's still pretty cool here. Lots of blossoms, which is lovely, but still cool weather. So looking forward to that warmer weather now. Days are getting that little bit longer though, which is nice. And I do have a paper share coming up as well. So $70, there will be papers from the online exclusives and the mini catalogue. And there will be a mixture of designer series paper and specialty paper in that as well. So if you would like to take part, the $70 includes postage, and the pieces will be cut 6 inches by 12 inches. So it'll be a quarter share, apart from those papers that are already 6 by 6. Hello, Vicky and Renee and Anita. How are you all? So I will turn you over and we'll get on to what we're going to make tonight. How's that? Tonight, no problem, straight away. Some nights it doesn't do anything and some nights it does. So like I said, tonight we are using Sailing Sunrise. I am going to stamp the sailboat, and we are going to cut that out as well. Now, because the stamp is photopolymer, I am going to use my piecing mat as well. I do have some colours here also, so we are going to use Secret Sea, Cloud Cover and Real Red. But for now, we'll just stick with our Secret Sea. I will grab my white cardstock. So this is just my basic white cardstock. And I have got my Secret Sea ink. And we're just going to ink up that sailboat. You can see that, and I am on camera. Make sure he's inked up nicely. And stamp him down. Just apply a little bit of pressure. And off. And we apply a little bit of pressure and keep it there for a little bit, just so that the ink does get soaked up by that paper a little bit as well. Right, just cleaning off my stamp. So my next bit of stamping I'm going to do is the centre of the sails. So there is a stamp here that does the centre of the sails. So I am going to do that in Cloud Cover. So we'll just make sure that's inked up. And I'll just stand up and make sure I'm getting this straight. These are really hard to get straight when you've got that camera. Do you know what? That is really bubbly. I did order one of the ink pads, and we could at our own risk as to whether it was going to be great or not. because they didn't meet our standards or Stampin' Up standards. So I have actually done like a little spot as well, which actually inks up so much better. So I will just use the spot. So if you don't have cloud cover, just getting these little spots which come uninked, and then you can purchase the re-inker and do it that way. So let us try and line that up. Oh, not bad. That's good. Considering I can't see, that's actually really good. So that is our sailboat. So let us get my little mini cut and emboss. Do you know what? Let's just cut that down. Sorry, I know I've just done that off camera, but my bit of paper was just a little bit too big to pop through. Because it's the mini, it is only 9 centimetres. Whereas if I get the little one and cut it, if I get the little cut and emboss, it is only 9 centimetres. So my paper needs to be at least not any bigger than 9. I'm not making sense tonight, am I? Hello, Anne. How are you? Oh, there was another thing I was meant to stamp on this too. That's okay. We can do that in a moment. I wanted to do the hull of the ship red. Just move that a little bit. I wasn't going to use tape, but I think I'll have to. Not very good. I see all these other demonstrators not use tape. I don't know how they get everything to stay still without tape. There we go. Good evening, Kim. How are you? Hope you're well. And hi, Natalie. Should have had something strong for my throat tonight. But no, water. Yeah, definitely better safe to be sorry with our... I might actually cut another one out. I'm going to cut another one out just to pop behind because I do want to strengthen the sailboat a little bit as well. Sorry, I wasn't really thinking. So I'm just going to do another one in white, so it's not going to matter where our little... I'll probably cut him a bit small. That's okay. It is just going behind. So, good evening, Kay. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining us. So let's get him out. What else do we need? There were some birds. Oh, I can do that later. Okay, so we've got our other one here. Which, like I said, I just want to put it behind, just to strengthen a little bit, and you'll see why later. Just get those out of the way and that out of the way. Now, the other thing I did want to stamp, like I said, was the hull of the boat. And I did want to do that in real red. So let's get our boat. It's a yacht, isn't it? Let's get our yacht up. Ink him up. Sorry, I do have to bring it down so I can just see where I'm actually stamping here. This is going to be hit and miss. Hopefully a hit and not a miss. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Like I said, I don't know who does lives and tries to stamp straight. I don't know how anyone does it because you can't see anything with the with the camera on top of you. So let's pop that there. So let's show you my card base. So my card base is actually Secret C, and the card base is 14.85 by 16 centimetres, and I've scored it at the 10.5. Then I'm going to have some mounts. So I have got the two-toned cardstock. So this is 30 by 30 and it's two-toned. It's a little bit lighter than our cardstock. And I am going to pop that there and there. But what I'm going to do with this as well is I am going to run it through the embossing folder. So let us do that. Pop that to the top so I'm getting more of the sky. Not that it really matters too much. Let me grab my large cut and emboss machine, and I'm going to have plate number 1 for this one. I'm going to pop my embossing folder through with my fold first, and then I'm going to use plate number 4 on top of that. Hello Jackie, how are you? I hope you're well. Now I have today, I don't know whether anyone heard, this morning I did send out all my catalogues, and for anyone doing my class, all my classes kits have been sent out as well. So hopefully they won't be too far off in the mail. So now I'm going to do this other side. I don't know whether you can tell, but I have actually marked the bottom of my embossing folders just so I know where I'm actually placing my bits of cardstock tonight. Excuse me, sorry. So let me show you what I've done with these, so then they will kind of line up a little bit. So I'm going to pop that in there, and then this one is going to go there, and see how they kind of line up. I'm not too worried about the boat, the yacht, sorry, because this other yacht is going to cover it anyway. Okay. Good evening, Joan. How are you? So what I'm going to do with this, because it's two-toned cardstock, it does actually have a white core. Now, we used to have sanding blocks a very long time ago at Stampin'Up, and I'm sure there are lots of other things that you can use to sand your cardstock. So I'm just going to use the sanding block, but I did do a class and we just used emery boards, and they worked okay as well. So what I'm wanting to do is just sand these clouds, so on both sides. And I am just going to do the water a little bit as well. There you go, and you just get that nice white look to them. So it's quite rough sea is what I would say then, if you've got all your little white caps out there. So just give that a bit of the sand. Okay, now we can stick those in. I'm just going to use some Tombow glue. Now do be sort of fairly generous as well when you're doing embossing folders and you've embossed the cardstock and you're sticking it down, because you've got all those dips. You want to make sure that it does stick nicely. Okay, so we've got that there, and this one we're going to stick on the front. Has anyone got this Sailing Away bundle? Since it's Sunrise Sailing, sorry, bundle. This is quite a cute little bundle, and it's great for masculine cards, which is something, I don't know about you guys, but I know I always struggle. Colours, not so much. We've got beautiful colours to use for masculine cards. It's just actually the stamp sets that I always find really hard. Okay, so we've got that. We've embossed it. We've stuck it to the card. Okay, so now I've got a little centre bit to this card. So I've got a piece of cardstock here, which is 22 centimetres by 8.5, and I am going to score this, and I'll score it with you so that you can see what I'm doing. So like I said, I've got all these little fuzzy bits of paper now there. So I'm going to score this. This is, like I said, 22 centimetres by 8.5. Just going to take my cutting blade away. So I've just got my scoring blade here. I only used it once. Maybe you need to get it out a little bit more. Mind you, I'm a little bit the same sometimes. I buy things and I use it, and then it sits on my shelf. Once I've used it once, I think, yep, that's great. But we do need to get more than one use out of things. So I'm going to go at 4 centimetres. I'm going to go at 5.5 centimetres. I'm going to go 11 centimetres. 11 centimetres and 16.5. So I do need to open it up. And 16.5 centimetres. Okay. So they are all our score lines. Now, I do have to think about this. I'm going to go mountain, mountain, valley, and valley. Correct. So that is what I've got. So I've gone mountain, mountain, valley for that middle one, and valley for the last one as well. Oh, I'd love to see what you've done with it, Joan, too. It is a lovely set. So I'm just going to use my bone folder just to burnish all of those score lines now. And I will show you what this is going to do. So this is going to sit on the front of my card. This is going to sit right on the fold, okay, so right over here. And then it's going to fold that way and this way. So when this opens, the card will open up that way, and you'll get a little ledge at the top here, and then you'll open that bit there and you'll be able to write in this bit here. So what we'll do to this is now dress it. Excuse me. Good evening, Lee. How are you? So I have picked the designer series paper. It's just the InColor designer series paper, the 6x6. So I'm going to have that on the front piece. This little piece here, I have decided to put real red as the backing. And I'm going to have that piece there, and then that piece there. Because then when we open this bit up, that is where our little bits are going to be to actually write on. Oh, I think we all are, Jenny. It's not just John. I've been a bit the same. I think we've both had this cold. We've been sharing it round. So here we go. Let's get these bits down. So it's an interesting card because you'll see when we put it together and where the actual yacht goes on this card. Because it does go on the card front, but it sits on this little piece here, which is quite unusual. Oh, I sure do hope it goes soon. Now, it is some kind of a box fold card, but I couldn't actually find a name of it. I received a card similar to this. And now whether it was a swap, I'm going to say it was probably a swap that I received it from, and I don't even know who from, I'm sorry. So like I said, I don't even have the name of what type of card it is, but like I said, I'm going to say it's a box fold type card. Oh, hopefully it's just a cold. The only thing I've tested for is COVID, and it's definitely not COVID, so that's a good thing. But you know what? I think it's been so long since we've just had an ordinary cold that you forget what it's like too. And this one here. Weeks. Thank you, Jackie. Excuse me. Hopefully it goes before then. That's what happens when you go away on holidays, hey? Man flu, the worst. Yes. You can't call it man flu though when I've got it as well, I don't think. I think I've been moaning as much as you have. Okay. So there are all our little bits. Now, I was actually going to back the 2 bits going here with the red too, but I found once it was all folded up, it got all a little bit too thick. So I decided that I couldn't have the white mounted in the red, so I've left the white as is, but I did mount everything else in the red. I just think the red gives it that nice nautical pop to it as well. So we'll go that one there. Got a little white strip on our little spine that's going to stick out. Okay, now I just have to think about this. So one of them here. Now there might be other ways of assembling this. Like I said, I've not seen it assembled, so I'm not sure how others would do it, but this is how I've deciphered it myself at least. Okay, so that one there, and this one's going to go on top here. Okay, there we go. So that's that bit. This is going to go inside. So on that, we might just pop a little bit of water at the bottom. So there is a stamp that just gives us this nice little bit of water there. See? So let's just ink him up. So when you've got these little spots, it's best to actually just bring your spot to your stamp. I'm going to pop them both together. I know I've forgotten my, let's bring this up, we do need our, those photopolymer stamps do just stamp better if you've got your piecing mat under them. And we just pop that at the bottom there. There you go. And now we can just glue those in as well. So like I said, you kind of don't want the middle of this to be too thick, which is why I've just gone the one layer for writing the sentiment on. Or writing your own little verse inside. Now it is only just a little bit, so there's not too much writing to be done inside of this card, which suits me to the ground. Okay, so now that we've got all that done, so that's going to go over that way, that's going to go that way. So like I said, when we pop it on our card, it's going to go here. So this bit I need to be just to sit in really nicely. So I'm just going to glue this side of it. Anyone knows where's Wally at the start of the live? Where was Wally at the start of the live? Oh. I didn't even think, excuse me. I did have a jigsaw puzzle in the background, and I think it just kind of made it. And it is actually a Where's Wally jigsaw puzzle. It is so funny. Daniel and I did it a little while ago. So what I'm doing now is just lining it up with my grid here, and just to make sure that I'm getting it fairly straight. You can just tuck that over. Then make sure that sticks. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm not a big one for writing in cards either. So like I said, that is then going to fold over and fold over again. Yes, and fold over again and sit that way. Okay, so we've got this little spiny bit just sitting there. So what I can do now is pop some glue on this back piece. Glue on that back bit, and then we can close our card and just make sure that sticks. Do you know what? A good way to do things if you don't like writing in cards, like when you're doing Christmas cards and things, if you get stamp sets with quite large sentiments on them, then you can put the sentiments on the inside of your card as well. You know, big hugs for a good friend, that's nice and big. So that in the middle of your card is a good thing. I don't write this. I don't usually, but I must admit, sometimes when I do my thank you cards, well, I only do note cards when I do thank you cards. So I do fill them in heaps. So that is what our card does when we've stuck all that down. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is stick these two together. And like I said, I just want to stick them together just so that they just makes it a little bit stronger. I should have used, and I didn't, but I should have used thick white as well when I did this. So lesson to be learnt, use thick white. I'm doing this again. Okay. Make sure they stick together, and then that is actually going to stick there. So when we open our card, it's actually going to stay on that little spine section. Do you know what, Lee? I have one of those too, because when I first started card making, I'm not very good at writing in cards. I've never enjoyed it much. So John bought me this little verse book, which was just brilliant. I loved it. So like I said, that's where that will sit. I am going to do a little sentiment. Excuse me. And what I've got is You Deserve the Best. So I've still stuck with this stamp set, and I'm just going to pop that on. It is a cute little closure, I think. Now, do I stamp it in red or in where we might go? I've got the red to actually pop behind it, so I might actually stamp it in the Secret C, I think. So let's try doing that. And again, I'll try and get this straight. She'll put it on this smaller piece. Then if I stuff up, I can go to the bigger piece. Not too bad. Not too great either. Let's try again. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. We'll go with second option there. Do you know what, Lee? We kind of have the same thing here. So Christmas cards, I make them all. Do everything, but John does do a lot of the writing in our cards, I must admit. I figure I've spent all the time making them, he can write in them. And it usually works pretty well here. So, like I said, I'm just going to pop that on the red, and there's just going to be a little bit above and below, so it's probably just a millimetre. And I am going to bring in my little trimmer. It would be really lovely if Stampin' Up brought these back out again. I think this has been the best purchase I've ever made, and I made it after they were actually available. So what I'm going to do with this, I reckon that might fit pretty well. Let's see. That might fit just in there nicely. So let's just take just a smidgen of the end there. And then might just take a little bit off the end of that too. Okay. No, your handwriting's fine. I don't mind as long as I don't have to write in them. I think it's pretty good. So we'll pop that there. That will go there. And then I was thinking we might pop this actually on the sails of the boat, of the yacht. I'm calling it a boat, it's a yacht. I know it's a yacht. So for this one here, I am just going to, do you know what I do have? It's not Stampin' Up, but it is really thin double-sided tape. So I'm just going to pop that up the middle, at the mast there. So then when I stick it down, it is only just going to be that middle piece. Sticking down, because we only want it to stick to this little piece here. We don't want any glue going anywhere over that. Okay, so that can go there. This can go on the top. So there wasn't a Happy Father's Day at all in this, so You Deserve the Best, I thought was probably the best sentiment out of all of them. Put that there. So probably the only thing, I've not got embellishments, but I do have birds. So let's sort out these birds. We will put some, look at this, Anita. I have got some adhesive sheet here. Oh gosh, I couldn't even get the name out. So I'm just going to take the back off the adhesive sheet. I'm going to stick my cardstock to that. So it's stuck down nicely. I will cut that off, and then we'll cut out some birds that we can use as well. And we might have to find Wink of Stella. We've got some Wink of Stella here as well. And just do a few little finishing off bits. I knew you'd be proud of my my adhesive sheets, Anisha. I don't often remember the adhesive sheets, and for these birds the adhesive sheets perfect because they're little and fiddly, and to glue them down they'd be really hard without the adhesive sheet. So I'm just going to roll them through twice just so I know that it's cut it. Like I said, once you've got the adhesive sheet there, it just makes it just that little bit thicker. I'm just poking them out with my Take Your Pick tool. So your dies always have these little holes in them. So if you just poke where the holes are, your little birds will come out. And we'll cut the next lot. Okay. And pop that away. Alrighty. And put them out. Done. So let's have a look at this. So I feel like we need something, oh goodness, next to the yacht. Got one there. And even though these are really little, the adhesive sheet's quite easy to get off from the back. One there. The hardest thing is picking them up. So adhesive sheets off. One up here. So like I said, there is no embellishments on this. I don't know whether we actually need anything once we've got the birds on here. But you can tell me, I'm sure I've got something in the colours so I can pull something out. And maybe one over here as well. There you go. So we've still got 5 there. So it's a nice uneven number. But you know what? We might even go inside here because I do have one left because it cuts out 3 at a time. So seeing that we've got the 6th one here, let's just put this one. No use letting it go to waste. We'll just pop him on the inside. And you're not usually going to ride up there anyway. So we've got all of that done. What I will do with my Wink of Stella is we will just highlight the clouds. Just give that a little bit of wink. And the same here. And like I said, it doesn't feel like you're doing much, but it just does give it that little shimmer. Whoops, that's run out heaps there. Or a lot of shimmer in some cases. There's that Wink of Stella in the birds before I cut them out. Yeah, that probably would have been good, but you know what? I reckon we could be really, really careful. And still put, oops, sorry, I think I just hit the camera with my head. Yeah, how's that? We can still do a little bit of that. We might even just on the coloured bits of the sail there. Now, I did this on the red before. Be really careful if you're using Wink of Stella on the red, because the red does bleed. So where you've got that little white line in the middle, if you put too much pressure on it, it will bleed a little bit there. And the other thing is it will make the tip of your pen go a little red, only a minute amount, but once you run that off, it comes off nicely. So it doesn't affect your tip too much at all. So now, here we go, see it? There's bits of Wink of Stella coming out of that. So let us have a look at some, I think they're a little bit too dark. These ones. Oh my God, if they ever got rid of Wink of Stella, I think that would be a lot of people that would be really disappointed. Do you know what? I don't even know where I would put them if I did put them on. I think as much as I've got them out, and I would probably use these ones if I did use any, but I think I'm actually happy with that as it is. What do you think? We might just leave it at that. I think sometimes you can do a little too much. And like I said, it's in here, we can't actually add any more because then that will actually start getting quite thick in here as well. Not sure if it needs anything else. Yeah, look, I'm thinking the same. Kim doesn't need them. Brilliant. No, that was my thoughts exactly. And like I said, we've got some other little bits and pieces that we've used in there as well. I think that is probably sufficient. And like I said, we've got that little bit of, you could even put the little bit of Wink of Stella on the masculine. Of course, and it is a masculine card, so maybe you're right. We leave it as is. That is a good idea. Thank you, Fiona. Well, that's it. That is our card for tonight. So thank you for joining me tonight and watching. Very much appreciate it. Do remember that I do have a paper share. So if anyone is interested, $70. And like I said, it's a quarter share. So you will get, the papers will be cut in half. So they'll be 6 by 12 inches. And you'll get one of everything from the mini catalogue and also some of the online, well, most of the online exclusives, the new ones, that is as well. I have got pictures of them on my page though, so if you want to go to my page, you'll be able to see them there as well. So that is my card. That will do for, whoops, he's here, Father's Day, but that's okay. I've made my own cards before, so, you know, I don't think it matters if he knows what he's getting. They would, yeah, they definitely have a right on their hands if they got. I don't think they could get rid of it. I think it would have to be, the Wink of Stella would have to be one of their top sellers for sure. So again, thank you. I will be back on Thursday. But apart from that, everyone have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely week, that is. And we will see you on Thursday. Thanks a lot. Bye.